Hey guys, today we're going to be learning how to find the area of a trapezoid. So this shape right here is a trapezoid. Now as you can see, there are two sides that are straight and they are parallel from one another. Remember, parallel means they're never going to touch each other. They're straight across from each other. So we call these base 1 and base 2. There's two bases for a trapezoid. So that's what the little 1 there is. And actually you say it base sub 1, base sub 2. And then the other two sides are slanted, kind of the way a triangle would be. So a trapezoid, it's kind of a combination between a rectangle and a triangle because two of the sides are straight. They're not the same length though. They're not congruent. And the other two sides are slanted. And then of course we have our height, which is a straight line straight from base 1 to base 2. Sometimes it's drawn inside, sometimes it's drawn outside. So here's my trapezoid. How do we find the area of a trapezoid? Using this formula. The area of a trapezoid equals 1/2 times the height times base 1 plus base 2 together. So you would add the two bases together and then do 1/2 times height times the bases. Of course, if you don't like using a fraction, you could turn 1/2 into 0.5 because 0.5 and 1/2 are the same number. Or you could do it this way. You could do the height times base 1 plus base 2 and then afterwards divide all of that by 2 because multiplying by 1/2 is the same thing as dividing by 2. All right, so let's get those notebooks out. Hopefully you have copied down these formulas, which is super important. And now let's go try some examples. Okay, so we're going to find the area of each trapezoid. And don't forget, here is our formula. Area equals 1/2 times the height times the sum of the bases, base 1 plus base 2. So let's do this one right here together. So my area equals 1/2 times the height, and what is the height of this trapezoid? It's right here, it's 14. So 1/2 times 14 times the sum of the bases, so base 1 and base 2. It doesn't really matter which one you call base 1 or base 2 because you're just going to be adding them together. So 12 plus 26. Let's write all that out. Okay, so now what do you do first? Well, order of operations says that you have to do parentheses first, so we have to add these first. So I'm going to do that. Let me rewrite everything. 1/2 times 14 times 12 plus 26, and 12 plus 26 is 38, right? Yes. So we put 38 in the parentheses, and technically you don't need the parentheses anymore, but I'm going to leave them for another step. Okay, so now let me do 14 times 38 first. And that equals 532. So now I'm going to do 1/2 times 532. Or you could do 532 divided by 2. Either way, you get the answer 266. And my units were centimeters, so centimeters squared. And that's how we do it. Okay, let's try this one up here. So now, this trapezoid, nothing is labeled, but we do see that it's on a grid, so we'll be able to count the bases and the height. So you see how this bottom line is slanted? That means this is not the base, which means our trapezoid is sideways right now. So if you turned your head or you looked at it this way, this would be how it's standing upright. Here's my base 1, my base 2 is up here, and my height is the straight line that connects them. I'm going to put it back the way it was and do it this way. So I'll do purple. So we are going to do 1/2 times the height, but the height is this line right here connecting the bases. So my height is 1, 2, 3, 4. And my bases are, base 1 is 1 unit, plus base 2 is 3 units. Okay, so now let's start solving. So we're going to have 1/2 times 4 times, what's 1 plus 3? It's 4. We know 4 times 4 is 16, so we're going to be doing 1/2 times 16. And what is half of 16? 8. So the area of this trapezoid is 8 units squared. So we just plugged everything into that formula. All right, so I'm going to give you guys these two to try right now by yourselves. Pause this video, and when you're done, you can click play to check your answers. Okay, so hopefully you've done these now. Let's take a look at our first trapezoid. First of all, we see there's 3 sides that are labeled. These little arrows on here mean that these 2 lines, the 13 and the 25, they're parallel from each other, which means these are our 2 bases, which means 39, the straight line connecting them, is our height. So we're going to use our formula, area equals 1/2 times height times base 1 plus base 2. So I'm going to fill that in. 39 is my height, and then 13 and 25 are my bases. So my next line should look like this. 1/2 times 39 times 25 plus 13. But now if we do 25 plus 13, we're going to get 38. So 1/2 times 39 times 38. Let's multiply 39 times 38 first. So that will equal 1/2 times 1,482. Now you have to multiply 1,482 times 1/2, and in the end you'll get the answer 741. So that's the area of this trapezoid. It's 741 feet squared. All right, and our last one, we have a trapezoid over here. Nothing is labeled, but it's on a grid so we can count the units. So here's my formula. Now let's see, the base 1 and base 2 are going to be these tops and bottoms. So this one and this one. And then my height is just going to be counting straight up. So my height is going to be 1, 2, 3 units. So my height is 3 units, and you can see the bottom base is 7 units, and the top base is 3 units. So that's why I have 7 plus 3. Well, 7 plus 3 is 10, so let's rewrite this again. Now we're going to do 1/2 times 3 times 10. We know 3 times 10 is 30, so let's rewrite it again. 1/2 times 30. And I know that half of 30 is 15. So the area of this trapezoid is 15 units squared. And that's it. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. Bye.